Okay, we're going to get started in just a second. Just wanted to do a sound check, make sure you can hear me, hopefully at this volume. And hopefully your mat's set up in a nice spacious area, well ventilated. And we'll get started with the Ba Chang Gong warm-up. Go nice and slow. Today we'll take the feet about hip width apart and we'll begin. Please start by looking to the right and come up on the balls of the feet. And look forward and come down. Looking left, come up. Forward. Looking right, come up. Forward and left. Forward. Keeping the heels down, look up. Forward, down. Forward and up. Forward and down. Back to the center. Now please lean the head to the right side. And then over to the left side. And then over to the right side. Take the chin up a bit. And chin down a bit. Over to the left side. Chin up a bit. And then down a bit. Back to the center. Finally for the neck, half circles, side to side with the head. And back to the center. Now down to the legs for one exercise, shifting and lifting, side to side, penguin walk. And coming back to the center. Now big arm circles forward. Big arm circles. And then back. And then taking your thumbs in a light fist, elbows out, circle in at the elbow joint. Other way. Interlace, wrist rolls. Other way. And some waves. Reverse. And rubbing the palms together. Hands to the kidneys, take the hips around. And the other way. And back to the center. Shifting to your left foot, right leg comes across and opens out 3 times. And then inwards with that leg. And then other leg opening out. And inwards. And then heels together, toes together. Rub the palms. Then the knees, rub the knees. Now keep the knees together, take them around a few times. And the other way. Okay, standing up. Ankle rotations now. Other way. Other foot. Other way. And heels together, feet angled out. Lift the toes up, relax the arms, and gently twist side to side. And back to the center, heels out, feet parallel, bend the knees, drop the tailbone, really ground yourself, and then rock gently forward and back. And back to the center, and lift one leg with both arms and the other. Okay, and then finally shaking it out with the jump. Shake it out into the ground one more time with the jump. And shake it out. Okay, welcome. Just joining us. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to get started in a wide-legged child's pose. First, most of you know it already. I'll show you how it goes, but then I'm going to come out of it so that I can tell you a little bit about our class today. But just hold the pose a while I'm telling you a little bit about our class today. So knees wide, big toes touch. Sit back onto the heels. Slide or walk the hands forward. Rest the forehead. Ideally, you want your elbows up in this pose, put your forehead down. Just holding there with mindful breaths. So today we're going to try and move nice and slow through our practice, very mindful of our breath, very mindful of our alignment. Take your time. If you need to rest, because we're holding longer holds, if you need to rest at any time, just come down and rejoin us when you're ready. Okay? So from the wide-legged child's pose, let's start to walk the hands in. Nice and slow. And then bring the knees in for cat-cow. And inhaling, tilting the belly down, forward. You don't want to throw your head all the way back. And exhale, tuck the tailbone, belly up. Relax the head. Inhale, belly down, look forward. Exhale. Just a couple more on your own. And come into neutral. Hands a little wider. Let's take some hip circles. And take it the other way. And bring the hips to the front in a kneeling push-up position. Now, if you like, you can hold here, or you can hold in chaturanga, or move between the two positions a few times. And then finally lowering to the floor. Immediately reach your left arm out to the side and peel up the right side of the body. Top leg could step or reach back. Really keep reaching through that left hand. And then slowly coming back to flat. Sliding the left hand in, reaching the right arm out, and peeling down the left side. Stay mindful of your breath, alignment. And then coming back to flat, sliding both hands in beside the chest. Elbows in, neck long, curl up to a light cobra. And hovering the hands a bit up off the floor. And reaching forward, keeping the feet down first. And lifting the feet up. And slowly releasing down, tuck the chin, forehead down, take a few breaths. And we're going to lift, crisscross lift, right leg, left arm. So lifting, inhale. And then slowly releasing that side. Other side, when you're ready, left leg, right arm lifts. Nice and straight, reaching arms and feet. And slowly releasing down from there. Sliding the hands back beside the chest, the elbows in. Curling up into a light cobra, or coming into upward dog. And coming back through downward facing dog. With the knees bent initially. Try to get all the air out from under your palms. Palms flat as can be. Maybe walking the dog now to start straightening the legs. You don't have to get the legs all the way straight. Now please inhale, come forward to plank pose. You can have your knees down if needed, of course. Keep your palms flat as can be. Hips up and back to downward dog. This time, as you inhale, lift your heels up. Then exhale, heels down. Inhale, heels up. Exhale, heels down. Now this time you lift the heels, bend the knees, look forward, step, walk, or jump to the top of the mat. Come into flat back extension. Get long in the spine, through the crown, shoulder blades down the back. And keeping the length of the spine, bend the knees, and lie forward over the thighs. Long spine. And hands down. Take your left leg way back. Coming into a low right lunge. Try to keep the hips square to the front. See if you can come up onto your thigh, if you like, coming up. Or even reaching up high if you prefer. Crescent lunge. And then lowering the hands down. Lower your back knee without letting it come forward. And just sinking the hips forward in a kneeling lunge. Now you can stay here in the kneeling lunge or point your back toes and lift your back knee off the floor. And then from here, back knee down, take the left palm flat, right hand on the right thigh. You might reach up from here or reach back for your foot. Okay, now unwinding and releasing from there. Hop the back leg forward to the top of the mat. Inhale to flat back. Exhale to fold forward. Bend the knees and take the right leg back. Hips square to the front. Now, hips square to the front is something I say a lot, so hopefully you have a sense of it. The hips, the right hip and left hip should be the same distance from the wall ahead of you. But also they should be the same height. So if your left or right hip is higher than another, you want to balance them out. Coming up or reaching up. Hips square to the front. Hip height should be equal, balanced. And then lowering down, lower your back knee without letting it come forward. And just sinking the hips to the front in a kneeling lunge position. Alternatively, you could point your back toes and lift the back knee. Similar stretch. And lowering the back knee, right palm flat, left hand, left thigh. Possibly reaching up high or reaching back for your foot. And slowly release from there. Hop the back leg forward. Inhale to flat back. Exhale to fold. Then firm the legs. Inhale, sweep wide and up. Exhale. Namaste. Okay. You need a little break to get a sip of water. Get a quick sip of water. If you're just joining us, welcome. We're moving through our practice a little slower today. Very mindful of our breath and mindful of our alignment. In a perfect yoga practice, you'd have full focus and awareness in the present moment for every breath, for every movement in the practice. Of course, we're not always there all the time. So just whenever you notice your mind wandering or your body just not conscious, bring more consciousness here and now. Now let's take a wide stance with the feet. Nice and wide. This first position is the whole pose itself. This wide stance with active legs. A little tuck to the tailbone, a little bit pressing the thigh bones back. A little bit of core engagement. Proud chest lifted, shoulders down. Sometimes called the Wonder Woman position. Now let's turn the left toes in, right toes out, 90 degrees for warrior two. Toning the back leg, reach up. Inhale and exhale, arms wide. Warrior two position. If you need to widen your stance, your back foot is the better option generally. Now, normally in this pose, leaning forward is a no-no, but coming into the next pose, you have to lean forward. Extended side angle pose. Now, anchoring from your back leg, inhale, draw yourself up. Changing feet. Remember to make sure your feet aren't crossed up. They should be heels on the same line. Some yoga mats have lines on them, which is nice. Now take your arms up, tone the back leg again, and then keep it toned, bend into the left side. And forearm down, right arm over the top. And anchor from your back leg, come up. Interlace the hands behind you. Turn your left toes in. Roll the shoulders back. Tone the thighs and kneecaps. Leading with the heart, leaning forward. You could stay here in just a long spine position or round forward. Draw your arms over top a comfortable amount. Palms together is a little harder. And slowly coming up, tucking the tailbone. Release the hands, interlace in front, but reverse the interlacing. Bring the heels in, turn the palms forward, and knees wide, arms up in goddess pose. If you like, imagine there's a post in front of you for Qigong mental focus. Exhale, press the solid post into the ground. Pressing up, shake the arms out a little bit. Take the hands just above the knees, then rest the weight of the upper body into the legs. You might shift a little side to side. It's one of the few times when you can let your shoulders shrug up like this. Normally we keep the shoulders down. If you want, you can even take the shoulder forward and the other. And bringing the hands down to the floor. You could just stay in low seated goddess, or you could shift side to side in Skandasana. And back to center, walk the hands forward, turn the heels out, sit back in wide-legged downward dog. And walking the hands in, about halfway, come into flat back extension, wide-legged flat back. You could, if you like, hinge forward to bring the crown of the head towards the floor. And then pressing up as much as you can. Tuck the tailbone, rise up, and bring your feet in. And then tuck the tailbone and rise up to standing. Bring your feet in the rest of the way and shake it out. Need a little sip of water. Get a quick sip of water before we get through a sun salutation. Now, for this sun salutation, we're going to do a simple scissor leg position. If you move to a wall, you can do it a little bit differently. You can use the wall to stretch your leg. So I'm going to move to a wall for that. I'll show you what it looks like before we actually get into it. So if you're working with a wall, you would take the leg up like this, and you can use the wall to kind of go higher and higher. If you're not using a wall or you don't have one available to you, then you'll just be taking the leg up without. All right, let's start going mountain pose. Grounding through the feet. And inhale, sweep wide and up. Firm the legs, exhale, dive forward. Inhale to flat back extension. Exhale, please fold, bend the knees, plant the hands, step, walk, jump back. You can lower either halfway or all the way down. Inhale to up dog or cobra. Then exhale back to downward dog. Let's take our left leg up first. Square the hips flat. You don't have to get the legs straight, but they are straightening. You gotta change sides. When you take a break, take a couple breaths before you take the other leg up. Good. Slowly lower that leg. Next exhalation, bend the knees, look forward. Step, walk, or jump to the top of the mat. Inhale, come up to flat back extension. Exhale to fold. Then firming the legs, inhale, sweep wide and up. Exhale, namaste. Now getting ready for tree pose, or a variation of tree pose if you prefer. You can also do it standing balanced on the block. But shifting to your left foot, take the right foot up into position. Foot presses the leg presses back into the foot. Another alternative for a little more hip opening is to take the leg into the half lotus position. Slowly releasing the arms, releasing the leg. Shift with the right foot, left leg comes up. Regular tree pose, or of course, if you did half lotus on the other side, you might do it as well on this side. And slowly releasing from there, coming towards the top of the mat, getting ready for a sun salutation B. If you want to add an extra element, have it against the wall. But starting with chair pose, bending the knees, sitting back. And exhale, straight legs fold over to the front. Inhale, flat back extension. Exhale, fold, bend the knees, plant the hands, step, walk, jump back. You could go right to downward dog or through the vinyasa. Now, if you're at the wall, walk your hands in and we'll come into inverted downward dog and take your leg over. If you're not at the wall, just take your leg up and over. Okay, and then coming down, swing your right leg forward between the hands, turn the back heel down, inhale, rising up into warrior one. And straighten your frontal leg, hands to the hips, roll shoulder lightly with the heart, tilt forward. And coming back upright bend, your front leg, hands in airplane wing position, lean forward, step, slide up onto the right foot, standing airplane or warrior three. And then hands down, foot back. You can go right to downward dog or through the vinyasa. Now, either working here with your leg up and over, or take it up the wall, leg up and over. Then hopping down, swing forward, heel down, rise up, warrior number one. And straighten the front of the leg. Hands to the hips. Roll shoulders back. Chest lifted, leading with the heart tilt forward. Expansive legs. And coming up, bend the front leg, hands, airplane wing position, slide, step forward, airplane or warrior three. And then hands down, leg back. You can go right to downward dog or through a vinyasa. And please swing your right leg forward for pigeon pose. Hips again square to the front. Hips again level, so the right hip isn't higher than the left. You can even look at your hips. I don't recommend working too much with mirrors because it keeps your attention outside too much. You want to really feel more inward for alignment. But sometimes mirrors can be useful once in a while to give you a sense of what your alignment looks from the outside. And then you could lie forward or stay up for a few breaths. Come back through downward dog or through a vinyasa to get there. And we're going to swing the left leg forward. When you're ready, left side, king pigeon. Be upright or bowing. I like to do a little both. Keep lying forward for the last few breaths. Coming back through the downward facing dog. And walk the feet forward and a bit wide for Malasana, garland pose. You could stay here for a few more breaths. You could use the wall to help you balance. You could come into crow pose. Don't feel bad if crow pose isn't part of your practice. Some people just, their body is naturally predisposed for a good crow pose. And other bodies are not so much. Okay, now let's come around to a seated position. Getting ready for Navasana, as some of you know as boat pose. So we need our 3 balance points, our sits bones, tailbone. Grab behind the hamstrings, extend the arms. Chest lifted, and feet up. Maybe reaching forward, the hands, or even with the legs in the full version of the pose. And flat feet together, knees wide, Baddha Konasana. And catching a hold of your toes, balancing again on the 3 points so you can bring your feet forward. You want to get straight. You can go wide, It's easier, I find, to get the legs straight. And then to Upavishta Konasana, you don't have to come in that way, but here's the next pose. Sitting up tall. There's one pose I would recommend doing every day. I think it would be this one. It's because it would strengthen your posture and your spine so much, which is such a big part of yoga. You also keep your hamstrings nice and flexible, your hips nice and toned. So it is a really good pose. See if you can do the challenge of watching like a whole episode of something in a yoga pose like this. Okay, maybe reaching up for a few breaths. Nice and tall, taller, taller, taller. Okay, and bring the feet together. Dandasana, staff pose. Your hands can stay in your lap, sitting up tall, or you could press into the floor and lift. Try not to scoop or tuck the tailbone. It's actually the opposite. You're untucking the tailbone. And slowly lowering down. Now the right leg comes back. Janu Shirshasana A or Janu Shirshasana B, as you prefer. When I do B, I usually support my knee with a block so that my knee joint has stability underneath it, less chance of hurting the knee. Sitting up tall, tilting forward, catching hold of the ankle, foot, or use a yoga strap. People are afraid to use it. A yoga strap, seeing it as kind of like a crutch, but it can be really just something that makes good alignment more accessible. And that's better on your body. That actually helps you to get further in a yoga pose if you've started with good alignment. And sometimes to have good alignment at the beginning, you need a prop. Okay, and now let's release that side, changing the legs. Right leg forward, left leg in. Two kind of prop essentials. If I only had two to choose, it would be a strap and a block. Sit tall. If I could add a third prop, it would be a blanket and a bolster, wall, chair. And then slowly releasing from there. All right. So we're going to find our way onto our back. Getting into a little bridge. After a little bridge, you might feel like doing a full wheel. You could if you wanted to, no pressure. Some people full wheel every day and it's like nothing to them, so it'd be a good opportunity then. But don't feel like it feels like forcing it. No, don't do it. Okay, so from here, lifting into the little bridge. This should be pretty accessible for everybody. And possibly lifting up into full wheel from there, or just onto your head, or just another version of little bridge. And then coming down, now hugging your knees in towards you from here. And keep hold of the right, extend the left. If you have the wall, you could press your left foot into the wall. That can be nice to have that feedback in that left leg. Now we're going to reach the right arm out to the right and take the right leg over to the left into a gentle twist. And let your foot turn out at the wall if it's at the wall. You can see how when you're using the wall, it allows you to keep your spine long and less relaxed, and keep some tone and activity in the spine. Let's come back to center. Plug the left leg in, release the right, pressing the right foot into the wall or just extending it if you don't have a wall. And then left leg over to the right, left arm out to the left. All right, turn back to the center. Knees in, knees wide. And then an option to stay here or grab your ankles, happy baby. You could stay there, maybe leg stretch. If you wanted to, you could go over into plow pose. Only if you can get your feet to the floor comfortably. Otherwise, stick with happy baby. And then pressing the legs up. If you have a yoga block, I recommend putting that block underneath. Pressing up, pressing the feet up towards the ceiling.
Maggie.
Try to keep a sense of lift in the chest here. Okay, now anytime you could either go to the wall for legs up the wall pose if you're not there already, or you could come right into Shavasana. You could even go right into a meditation position because you just did a bit of legs up, which is a good Shavasana position. As long as you get at least a minute of Shavasana, that is the minimal amount to get you going after a yoga practice, but it is important to take that time, even just a minute or two, to really let your body process all that we did in our practice. So lying back, shoulder blades down the back, your legs can be knees bent or straight, or again, you could be legs up the wall. Now, feel free to stay in Shavasana, or if you like, you could transition into a meditation position. I'm going to take a couple minutes in meditation with you. If you like, you can join me. Or again, you could stay in whatever position you're relaxing in now. Remembering the 3 key elements to any meditation, whatever position you might be in, whatever meditation you might be doing, whatever style or practice, 3 key elements have to be there, or it's not truly meditation. First, you need a focus of the meditation, whether it's your breath, whether it's a visualization, whether it's your body. Your mind has to be consciously focused on something. And then you need to develop awareness, so you know what your mind is doing or thinking at any time. So focus, awareness, and finally, the final key ingredient is relaxation. Some say it's the most important ingredient, which is why meditation tends to be really good after yoga, because your body's ready to relax. It's toned, it's open, everything's flowing well, and so you can really relax. And then focus and awareness and relaxation becomes easier. So let's take a moment to focus the mind on the breath or the body with conscious awareness of the mind, relaxing deeply. We'll go for just a couple minutes. Okay, please feel free to continue meditating on your own if you like, or you can wrap up your practice now. Now, I want to mention, last week we went over a book called The 30 Essential Yoga Poses. And part of the idea of that is I wanted to show you that this yoga sequence and pattern that we do has not only all the essential yoga poses in it almost every time, but it has a whole other element that we bring to it every week. So it's very all-encompassing, and it's a type of practice that you grow into. It takes time to really master the practice. It can be a lifelong sort of journey, but it's the way that we keep the practice interesting is by bringing more and more intensity and consciousness into every pose. So we're filling it out as opposed to just adding more and more and more poses and variations. But you'll find too that it does have an actual lot of poses incorporated in it. So I hope you're enjoying the practice. If you have any comments or questions, I'm always available for you. It's good seeing you all again, or having you all again taking class. And hopefully we'll see you soon, maybe even in person. Who knows? Thank you all. Namaste.